So here we are, feet first into a game of Talisman. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Strategy Informer. Hello, I'm Richard Yorke. I'm going to be your narrator, your guide per se in this look at, of course, Talisman. If you are a child of Warhammer, if you love board games, this is going to be right up your street. So let's embark on an adventure together in the next 20 minutes, looking at this fantastic game and, of course, the whimsical updates which can keep everybody enthralled, hopefully for years to come. Remember, if you don't know what Talisman is, it is, of course, a fantasy board game. Back in the year of 1983, you could roll dice on a board, but now you can do it across your friends across the world. So it is a fantasy themed board game where you take the role of adventurers, from dwarves to elves to ghouls to whatever they can throw at you with, of course, future DLCs. You all have unique abilities. You're able to cast spells, deflect spells, but the main mission is, of course, to win the game by getting to the crown of command or vanquishing your opponents. So, ladies and gentlemen, you might be asking me, what is new to this 5th edition? Why spend your hard-earned money on this? Of course, what you are looking at is, of course, fresh artwork, revamped rules, modern designed. Of course, they're going to remaster the classic expansions. Of course, I think the word is they're starting with the Reaper himself. We've all had days when the Reaper's dropped on us and killed us from the game. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? He is coming back. Of course, the key features for, of course, Talisman is, of course, the solo and multiplayer experience, the expansive content even. Choose from vast arrays of characters with their own unique abilities, rich detailed world full countless adventures and challenges. So also you're able to customize your experience with the new deck editor, which we're going to look at these literally right now. So let's get straight into it, ladies and gentlemen, and look at the guts and glory of course, Talisman, the 5th edition. I've got to say, as a child of Warhammer, and I will keep saying that because I am a child of Warhammer, Games Workshop has been my life for many years, and of course, anything to do Games Workshop just gets me going. So we're going to hot look into the sexy assassin. We know what an assassin does, but do you really know what an assassin does? Of course, the ruthless assassin is paid to get the job done and always delivers on her mark or his mark. Her morals are dubious, but precision is irreparable. Let's have a look what abilities she's able to do. When the battle or any character or creature, you can choose to assassinate them. You cannot assassinate when you're attacked by another character. So this is more of an offense power. When you assassinate, the battle takes place as a normal, except your opponent may not roll a dice to add to their strength. If you win the battle using assassination, your opponent loses 1 life. You cannot take an object or gold instead. That's a nice auto win for the assassin. I've got to say, one thing that always jumps to my eye is the fantastic artwork that has been updated. Very modern take to the classic, of course, pictures from fantasy art. One thing that I actually really enjoy is, of course, the ghoul. This is the character I think I've played more in the recently, our 5th edition being released. The ghoul, his duty is to the dead. He tends to the spirits, passing to the netherworld. His mysterious skills are well suited to the task. Of course, a measly 2 strength, 4 craft. He is a craft build to start off with. Let's check the details out. When you attack another character, you can choose to use your psychic combat You cannot use ability if you're attacked by another character, so of course this is an offensive power. When you defeat the character in Psychic Combat, you choose to take 1 life or gain 1 counter. So it's pretty good because you can take a life and of course retake a life. When you kill an enemy in battle, you may raise it from the dead, keep it as a follower instead of a trophy. During the battle, you may discard a raised follower and add it to your strength. So a nice little buff there when killing actually enemy characters. Really really good starting character, I think, if you are new to Talisman. So there we are with the characters looking fantastic. And as we spoke about the expansions, the Reaper is of course on the way. So let's just take a look at some of the customizable parts to Talisman. Let's have a quick look at the decks. So when you created a new deck, you can edit it by clicking the feather icon. A deck with the active shown will be on one user of the game you are setting up. You can also rename your decks here by choosing rename, so you can create several decks. Let's have a little quick and look about what we can do. Click the feather icon. So you can add and remove cards from the deck, and you can have up to 10 copies of course them. At least one talisman is required in the deck. You can change the image of the deck and below. So fantastically, you can actually make it harder, make it easier. You can make it adventurous as you want, and this is what you want. A lot of these games you need replayability for these games because you're going to be wanting to come back and back. This may be a little bit of a good thing for this game, where you can add that little bit of extra spice for your game. I actually really do like that. I'm really charged for this. I've got to mess around with this at some point, which we will do. So there we go. And of course, house rules. The one thing that if you of course want to change a couple of things up for Talisman 5th edition is of course just change things up a little bit. So we'll have a quick look at this right now. The change of fate. When on, you always roll a different number when using your fate reroll. Ooh, interesting. The Dire Toad. Remember visiting the tavern? Remember visiting the hag, or I think it's the mystic? You can get turned into a tag. A toad, it's harsh. So Dire Toad, 4th edition Toad rules. Last 3 turns and all infantry items are dropped. It's a harsh one. Fatality. Death is more challenging. When you are defeated, you can start again. And of course, we have the online. So a couple of fantastic things we're able to change in this new Talisman. Gotta say, really enjoying the state of the change of play there for Talisman. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is kind of on a whole there what has changed. And of course, now we're going to chuck ourselves in a game and look at it and just throw some dice for a couple of minutes, and hopefully you guys can see how it goes. So here we are, feet first into a game of Talisman, and you can actually see an absolutely beautiful made board here. I've got to say, the rich art and the change of pace for the board is a nice refresher from early editions of Talisman. As you see, we have chose the stoic dwarf to come and fight for us this game. A really fantastic character. Of course, starting strength for free, crafter free, 5 lives. Wow, he's a tough cookie. And of course, a tasty 5 fate value. Of course, he starts in the crags with an alignment of neutral. I don't know if you guys like starting as bad or good. To be honest with you, it doesn't really matter to me. Remember, starting as bad, you want to try and get to the graveyard, and of course, if you're good, you want to stay next to the church. So let's have a quick look. So you can re-roll crags or jazz. You must accept the result. You can evade creatures from the hills. When rolling for the cave, you may add 1 to your dice roll. You only roll 1 die when attempting the portal of power with craft. You only roll 2 dice in the mines. So the dwarf, a stoic character, very much a mid-late game character with a couple of them things getting past the mines in the inner circle. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, the aim of the game is to get to the crown of command. Of course, defeat the dragon, ring the crown of command to defeat your opponents, or all your opponents in the game just die. So we're just going to quickly roll a dice. Let's see where we'll land. Of course, as you know, you roll a 1 on the dice. There you go. You get to move 1 space to the plains. And of course, something new to our 5th edition of Talisman, you can pay 1 fate to move up to 6 spaces. So fate plays a bigger part in, of course, Talisman. That's not going to be too bad. I've not seen any groundbreaking things that have broke the game with this so far, but there is still time to come. Hopefully, it might be patched to be less of a overkill. We'll see how that time goes when I play real human opponents. Can that fate value be abused? But what we're going to do, we're going to accept the 1 result, drop into the fields, and travel we go. And of course, with every tile comes a consequence. We have to draw an adventure card. So magically, the pool have life has actually found. This is a fantastic card for Talisman. It gives you life. When drawn, place 4 life counters on this card. Each player may bathe in the pool once per encounter to gain 1 life. When all counters are gone, it is discarded. I hope they've washed themselves clearly when they do this. So we're going to gain a life, bringing an easy lead for the dwarf player. So we're going to skip past the computer turn. He will be doing exactly what I'm doing, and of course encountering the board and encountering other players. One thing with Talisman, you are able to skip past the computer player turn straight back onto your turn. So there we go. We're going to press it again, see what we roll. We roll a 2 to a field, 2 to a field. Let's just go to the fields. So remember, when we're dropping on a tile, if there is an opponent on there, we will be able to either encounter the character or the square we land in. If you want to battle your opponents, you are able to do that. So of course Talisman gives that whole feel of a PvE, PvP environment as you go. But if you're playing with friends online, you could have secret allies, you could have secret enemies, you could just have enemies. I don't know which one it is. We're going to draw this card. Holy moles. For the second draw of a card, guys, this is not good. Let's encounter the dragon. Unless he rolls a 1, I don't think we're going to beat this dragon. But like I said, the dwarf has the evade. He's able to evade monsters this early on the game. I think, unfortunately, gentlemen, we are going to have to slip past this dragon. It is not worth losing 1 of our lives, even though we just gained 1 from the pool of life. Let me just say, Talisman giveth, Talisman taketh away. And that is, of course, Talisman take away. Let's just roll 1 more turn and see if our luck increases. Got a 5. Okay, so we have a chance to visit, of course, is it the village? The city's up here. Or we go to the wood. Let's go to the city and let's see what we can do. So remember, each tile on Talisman gives a different effect or a different encounter. It changes every time, and this is the variety of Talisman with all the things that can happen. We don't want to buy a weapon. We've only got one gold. And we've got the Mystic. What I love about dice games is it's random. That's what we love about games like this. You throw a dice, you can be rolling 6s all day, and then it always comes down for 1. Let's roll the dice and see what we get. A 5. Fantastic. For the dwarf with 3 of craft and 3 of strength. It's a great one just to buff up my craft there. We are now up to. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was a kind of a little bit of a snippet. Of course, the gameplay of Talisman. Like I said, every playthrough can be different. With the new different rules, we can change, of course, all of the aspects of the game, changing the card numbers, and of course, changing life and death of each of the characters. You can respawn, etc. like that. So there we go. That was a quick snippet of that. And here we are. So let's slap right back into the positives. Like before, I've said the fresh artwork, of course, is nice and refreshing for an older game. Of course, the extra spicy rules we're able to edit into the game, changing the number of cards we're able to bring into a game, so reducing the talismans but also increasing them. This could, of course, make it harder or easy to complete the final mission. Of course, the Reaper will be coming soon, so we're hopefully going to see all of the fantastic DLCs from the previous titles of Talisman. Of course, like I've highlighted before, the solo, of course, experience, but of course the multiplayer, where the game, of course, shines, playing your friends across the internet. I know for sure I'm going to be playing other friends and other content creators over the internet in the next coming years and hopefully days. Yeah, so for me, the highlight, art, and customizable gameplay, such a big thing. I know. Okay, let's. Of course, there are pros, and of course, there are cons. Of course, not everybody is hot with the new graphics, and of course, just sneak peeking at, of course, some of the not so positive reviews on Steam, or the artwork. Some of the artwork, people are not saying it's not as charming. I've got to disagree. And of course, the alignment, we are now able to edit alignments rather than being given an alignment, which, I don't know, I think that's a nice thing as well, because you're able to choose, do I want to be a bad guy, do I want to be a good guy, or do I want to be neutral? And of course, with any new release, whatever, there are of course going to be bugs. You can't play half an hour of a game and set your opinion just on that. You have to give it a couple of hours, a couple of, bugs will happen, and that's the way of game developing goes. Bugs come, bugs go, they get patched out. Of course, like I said before, for me, it's a needs must. But ladies and gentlemen, I've been Richard. Please go check the game out on Steam. Just get your own opinion of it before, of course, throwing it down the street, not wanting to try it. I've got to say, I'm going to be playing it for many years, and of course, like I said, it's all about reliving them childhood memories of throwing dice on a board. The modern world is very busy at the moment. You may not be able to get down and sit, of course, physically with some of your friends, and this is, of course, a easy way to do that. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. I've been, of course, Richard from the Strategy Informer. Click that like and subscribe button, and of course, come back for more mini reviews, and of course, find my links below to my content, and take care. Have a wonderful day.